Hi, this is Elsa P. here to talk about astrology and relationships and Venus in the natal chart and our various love natures and how we mix them with other people. I mentioned recently that the soldier and I both saw this movie in common, Sound of Music, when we were young, and consequently we derived our idea of what love is from that movie, and we have that in common, and that goes a long way to holding something together because we have a common story about what love is about. But what happens when you get in a relationship with somebody who has a different script than you? Well, that happened to me with my ex, the AMF, who I loved very much. I loved him to the bone, but he had a completely different story, different idea of what love is than me. I have this Venus-Neptune, and I just living in a fairy tale all the time. And, I have a tremendous bliss. And in contrast, he had Venus in Scorpio in its detriment, conjunct Saturn, exact to the degree, conjunct Saturn, and on top of that he had it in the 8th house. Well, that's a whole different story. And in his love, it's got to end badly, and it's got to end in pain and disappointment. And we used to talk about this all the time because I used to tell him I felt like we were two gods fighting for our agendas. I wanted it to go my way, the way I think love goes, and he's wanting it to go his way, the way he thinks. He's trying to play his script. And I told him, it's very, in hindsight, I think this is very arrogant, but I told him at the time that I sure hope that, I win because my story is better than yours. I don't want to end in devastation and pain and disappointment. And, but as it turned out, it's very strong. Your chart is your chart, and we both manifested our realities. He manifested his, and I manifested mine. And I think this is very important and something to note. If you're studying astrology, to look at, like, does this Venus sign match that Venus sign? That's small potatoes compared to the bigger picture. Is how does this person? What's their expectation? What does love mean to them? Because if they're fundamentally incompatible, you're going to have a very hard time. I mean, I think it can be done. Of course, I believe anything can. Love is going to. I have Venus Neptune, but I just wanted to mention this. Because I think it's important. So how's your Venus aspected? What's your story? What do you think? How do you think love plays? If you're the god running the show, tell me in the comments. I'd be very interested. Thanks. This is Elsa P. at elsalsa.com.